After several missed dates announced by the past administration to get the federal government-owned refineries back on stream, it appears the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries are set to become operational again in a matter of days, actually all thanks to the collaborative efforts of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited. For context, we are now being joined by Dr. Billy Giles-Harry, the president of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, who was part of a recent on-the-spot facility tour of two of the refineries. Good morning, sir, and many thanks for joining us on the morning show.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, and good morning, Nigeria.
Thank you. Now, it says that we've heard that you went and you saw two of the refineries, Warri and Port Harcourt. I want you to know that should Nigerians be optimistic that the Port Harcourt refinery in particular and the Warri refinery, that they're going to be back online by the end of the month? We were told by the NNPC that we should expect it in August. We are in August. Do you think this is going to happen?
Yes, I think it will happen. I have listened to some of the earlier conversations you've heard, and I believe that we need to discourage naysayers. We have to be positive. We have to be courageous. We have to be expectant that Nigeria will turn to be the best. I had a tour of the two facilities with my team in the last few days, actually a few days. We were in Warri. And we had very in-depth analysis of the situation of the refinery. And we can authoritatively say that the Nigerian government, the NNPC and the MD of the Warri refinery and his team are doing a good job. Initially, it was supposed to be a quick fix. A quick fix ordinarily is to presuppose that they will just go in, turn the refinery back, get crude in and then start cracking. But that was not the case. A lot of technical issues, cropped up that has kept them working. But as of the last time we finished speaking, we went back with a satisfied smile that Warri Refinery is over 90% complete.
All right, Dr. Harry.
And also, Port Harcourt.
Go on, sir. Go on, please. Go on.
Yeah, and also Port Harcourt has been, working very highly, optimistically to make sure that the refinery gets started. And I can also confirm to you today that Port Harcourt refinery is already starting production processes. And those processes simply will go through some protocols. And I believe that in the coming days, I believe not weeks, the refinery will start turning out products. So again, we want to give credit to NNPC GCO, the Minister of State of Petroleum, Senator Lokobiri, the MD that is on top of the challenge here, Engineer Ibrahim Onoja. These are great Nigerians, patriotic-minded, and despite of the naysayers lampooning, they have never given up. And we as an association, knowing that we are the most critical last mile of the industry, have also not relented in pushing for efforts to be, to be concerted so that the refineries can come on stream, regardless of how much the percentage of work is. We want to see our local refineries roaring to life, and I believe that that's where we are today.
All right, Dr. Harry, thank you so much for the explanation so far. But I believe that Nigerians who want a bit of more specifics from you, given the fact that you had an on-the-ground assessment, and I believe that we're talking Port Harcourt 1, Port Harcourt 2, and Warri. What did you see, and what assurances were you given in terms of timelines and deliverables? When you say for Warri, you are talking 90%. People will remind you that they are not necessarily naysayers, but then they have become weary because of the series of broken promises by the NNPC and by the federal government. You recall, of course, that last December, NNPC came out to say that, oh, we're ready. They even, had what they call it, technical readiness and things like that. But of course, the goalpost has been shifted a number of times. So what assurances were you given in terms of when what will happen? And then in terms of the combined capacity of Port Harcourt 1 and 2 and Warri, what are your own expectations as the leader of the association that will have this product in your custody for sale when they actually come out?
Well, in Port Harcourt, let's take Port Harcourt. In Port Harcourt, I was actually given the opportunity to see all the technical works. I guess in the last 7 or 8 months, I have been leading my team to check and encourage the actors to ensure that what is being expected of them from Nigerians, by Nigerians, actually materialize. And we saw that the 2 refineries in Port Harcourt were actually being stripped and replaced. So it wasn't just a quick fix in any way. It was, pipelines were taken off, electrical components were taken off, and of course, the powering up was tested. I believe that was what was done in December. And then testing will start. And normally, every situation must be approved by the NMDPROA. So until that approval is got, they cannot move. And NMDPROA must be sure of exactly what they are doing. So if, as of today, the 60,000 barrels refinery in Port Harcourt is already steaming, that already guarantees Nigerians that refined fuel from Port Harcourt Refinery will soon come into the market. And of course, the other bigger one, which is 120,000 barrels a day, is still undergoing very urgent repairs and additional components, being added to that. So right now we are talking just about the 60,000 barrels. And at least if that comes on board, we should be able to have petroleum product in the country that should assuage this consistent supply glitch that we're experiencing. So that's how much I can tell.
Okay, so with this anticipated resumption of local refining, do you foresee a possible impact on fuel prices in Nigeria? Will it help stabilize or reduce the cost of petroleum products? And if we look at the sustainability of operations, as rightly asked by my co-host here, talking about the expectations, what measures are being taken once it's being run to ensure the sustainability and the consistent operation of these refineries? How exactly will the government and the NNPC work together to ensure that these facilities don't fall back into disrepair the moment they are back and fully operational?
Well, see, this is why we have to have a new business model for how our refineries operate. We should not leave it strictly to government. And I think that the government should work out a new business model where the private sector is directly involved. Because we, as retail outlet owners, will not in any way encourage the refinery to go down anymore. Once it's up, we will want to make sure that it's up. Because obviously, it's affecting every part of the country. It's affecting us so very terribly. You see our glazing stations that are littering the whole country, but business is not done to justify the glamour. So we need to also make consistent input, and therefore we encourage the government to include private sector participation. And when I mean private sector, I'm talking about those who are in the grassroots of the business, to be part of the process of making sure that we consistently do audits, we consistently make sure that the refineries are running with empirical evidence of what is needing to be done, After all, refineries all over the world, some of them are older than even the ones we have in Nigeria. So we can certainly get our refineries working. And I believe that with the current situation and the efforts I'm seeing the president putting on the table, the idea of running business as usual and allow miscreants and those who are, not in any way not patriotic to putting Nigeria's business first will not be part of the show. That's what we advise, and we encourage the president and his team, and even the GCO of NNPC, to ensure that those who are given this assignment to keep the refineries working are really up and, up to the task and doing their job.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to ask you specifically the sizes of the Port Harcourt Refinery and the Warri Refinery in relation to the Dangote Refinery, because Dangote Refinery has currently released a statement yesterday saying that they're still not receiving enough crude to do their operation. So do we believe that the crude will be available for the Port Harcourt refineries and the Warri refineries when they come online, particularly when we're still not yet to meet our OPEC quota?
Well, in my view, and this is what we as lay economists in this side of town we want to advise, because every country must have its own method of addressing their challenges. Dangote's refinery is 650,000 barrels a day, and you are talking about a combined total of about 240 or 260 barrels per day refining capacity of both Warri and the two refineries in Port Harcourt. So of course, Dangote refinery quite outweighs the two federal government-owned refineries. But at the end of the day, there has to be logistics values that should be considered in the way that the crude oil should be shared amongst them. We have also come out earlier to advocate that the Nigerian crude oil market should be denominated in the Nigerian naira. And we're happy that the president heeded to our call. Maybe his economic team must have also advised him to that. But Petron has been in the forefront of trying to make this analysis, because that's one way to also strengthen our currency. However, when we talk about crude oil distribution, that is strictly the assignment of NUPRC and also NNPC's involvement. And of course, you know that NNPC also have shares in Dangote Refinery. So there must be some equitable way of making sure that every refinery in country have crude oil, including the modular refineries that are also producing naphtha and diesel and a few other products. So that's what I will advise, that should be done. That we should sit down instead of calling each other out and creating more and more problems and making us a laughingstock in the international space. We should get our acts right and let our stakeholders, those who are in charge of the crude oil production, those who are in the JVs, those who are in the production sharing contract, the government, sit down. I know that the PIA has given leverage to willing buyer, willing seller provision, but this is a situation where Nigeria is bleeding, because we are spending so much of our resources in importing just PMS. Regardless of how we talk about it, that's how our resources are being frittered away. So we need to be focused and be very strategic on getting the local refineries working optimally. Even if they don't work 100%, if they're working even 50%, that will still assuage the petroleum product need in Nigeria. And that's what I honestly will advise, that all stakeholders should sit down with the president, who is also the Minister of Petroleum, to guide and give strategic advice of how crude oil should be mined and how it should be distributed to these refineries. And I think we can do it. It's our country. So we can do it, and we should do it.
All right, Dr. Harris, I like your optimism, but I would like to know two things before we begin to wrap up. One, as your association made the same sort of visitation to the Dangote refinery, and if you have, what did you see in terms of hope, in terms of readiness, and in terms of operational positivity? And secondly, this is a time that most Nigerians need some good news. You are bringing good news, no doubt, together with the NNPC, but paint for us a picture of what people should expect in the last quarter of the year from October, if Port Harcourt and Warri will be ready, and then Dangote, which is ready, now, but just waiting for crude to roll out. What sort of imagery do you think that will give Nigerians if these two important refining capacities are delivered by October of this year?
Well, regarding the Dangote refinery, I was personally invited by the company, by the refinery at the commissioning ceremony. Thereafter, we have also communicated severally to the Dangote team for us to have a physical visit and a physical meeting with the team. It will also help us to be able to exchange ideas on how we should be able to work. But that opportunity has not been given. Though I'm very much in consistent communication and very productive one with the top level management, but physical visitations have not happened, as it has happened with Warri Refinery and Port Harcourt Refinery. What I will say is that Dangote Refinery is a pride to Africa. It is a pride to Nigeria. I am very proud of that a businessman will put together resources and thoughts and be able to make that decision. And I want to encourage him not to regret at any time, regardless of the discouragements and difficulties he's going through. We believe that if we work together, we should be able to get solution. And if he's patient and hardworking, as he has always done, with the government also coming to the table, we should be able to get answers. I don't think calling out ourselves in the public space is helping this country in any way in terms of our image or inviting foreign direct investors. As to your question about what I expect, in my capacity as president of the Retail Outlet Owners Association, I can tell you categorically that what I have seen and the passion, the commitment of all of the management team that I met in Warri and also in Port Harcourt gives me the courage and the boldness to say that these young men are willing and patriotic and hardworking to make that dream come true. And we need to encourage them. They are going through a lot. Some of them, from the reports we got, hardly have gone back to their homes. They practically sleep on sites. That is sacrifice enough. So we should encourage them and give them the necessary fuel, morally, psychologically, to pursue the work and get it done. And I believe that in the coming days, we'll be hearing more and more good news from Port Harcourt that is already getting ready to start production. So that's the much I can say for now.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your valuable contribution to the morning show today. Thank you.